not often did you find freshmen starting in big programs.
Especially not in Michigan.
Right. Bryce Underwood, by all reports, and rightfully so, because he's just better. You don't start him because he's a 5-star. You don't start him because how much money he makes. Players know that. They see what's happening, and they know you're supposed to start the best. He's been the best player in Michigan's football quarterback camp. How much pressure is he going to feel, and what's he going to have to get used to quicker than just about anything else when he takes his first snap?
Well, I'm very appreciative of how Sharon Moore chose to go about the situation. We all know University of Michigan, it's always a quarterback controversy. We never have a name until the day of the game, the day before the game, or the week of. It's just typically how it goes in Ann Arbor. Same was with J.J. McCarthy. You don't remember him versus Cade, him versus Christian McCaffrey's little brother. Like, this has been going on for a very long time. Sharon handled it differently. You already had yourself a 5-star up there in Jaden Davis. You had yourself a couple transfer quarterbacks, and then you had yourself a $10.5 million quarterback. You didn't hear a peep. They let them figure it out. You let him not just be the number one player in ESPN coming into the 25 season from high school. You just let him be a good quarterback. You let him see what he was as an athlete. I think that's what they did. Remember I told you I went up there a couple weeks ago, and everybody was smiling, and everybody was walking very confidently. Had an inkling on what it was, and it was this. He's in a good spot. He's not coming into an offensive line that Davis Mills, came into last year. He's not coming to 5 freshmen trying to figure it out. He's not coming to a running back room that's trying to figure it out. He's not coming to a wide receiver room where Ron Moore got hurt last year going into the season. Oh, by the way, Ron Moore's back. So he's not coming into that room. He's coming to a room. You got some more veteran experience on the offensive line. You have a coach in Sharon Moore that's now in year 2. There were some moments Sharon Moore had to go to in terms of being a rookie head coach at this level. Remember the first 8 games of the season and how it looked. Remember some of the moments in terms of Washington and things of that nature.
But he did have some experience in coaching the year before during
True.
the national championship run.
It's different.
That helped him a little bit, don't you think?
It helped him, but it's different when everything's on your shoulders. It's much different. Yeah, I've done a show before. This one has my name on it. It comes with different weight, and I think he was able to kind of get through that season and see what it felt like. Now this season, I think there's more weapons on the offensive side of the ball for Bryce Underwood. I think the running back position, especially Justice Hill as well as Marshall, these are going to be some big moves for him to be able to hand the ball off and get a sense of comfortable offense. I think he and Coach Lindsey have gotten a rapport. I don't think they're trying to put everything on him. I think on the outside, it's everyone. It's the fans. It's the haters. It's, the analysts. It's us. Well, this has to happen, or this has to happen, or this is what's going on. If he doesn't do that, that's not what it is up there. I think up there they have him in a much better rhythm. I think they got him, hey, look, we got this for you. We got that for you. We got this offensive coordinator for you. So let's work it. I think he has a favorable schedule. In fact, I know it's a favorable schedule, and he'll be good this year.
They've also said you don't have to be Superman.
You don't.
I think it's a little different for both the quarterbacks you see behind us. The guy on top doesn't have to be Superman. The guy on the bottom, Aiden Childs, has got to be special for them to move forward. Is that out of line, do you think?
No, it's not out of line. I think there's a lot that helps the guy up top. I think there's a defense. Wink Martindale and what his the defensive coordinator in Michigan, Wink Martindale, the system that he started getting comfortable with at the end of the year. Now you add kids from Arkansas. You add some more defensive rushes. I'm excited to see what that guy Benny is going to do for Michigan this year. There's a lot of players that Michigan have to help him out. And they also, last time I checked, they just won a national championship 2 years ago. So there's still a lot of that around that program. Aiden Childs has the unfortunate pleasure of leading a team that has been struggling since 2021. And realistically, they were struggling that year. They just had a guy by the name of K9 that was freaking insane. That was electric. Yeah. A lot is going to be on this guy because we don't know what Coach Jonathan Smith is. We don't know if he's a guy just filling in for the next guy or if he's going to be the coach that's there for
even though he was successful at his previous stop.
It means nothing. Like, it means nothing. This is different.
Oregon State, too.
No, could you expand on that, Braylon?
You said what?
Can you expand on that?
Well, I mean, he had some success in Washington State. Excuse me. Had some success in Washington State.
Oregon State.
Oregon State, excuse me. He had success at Oregon State, which was a school in a conference that was depleting, that was about to be eroded, that was disappearing forever. A lot of those schools are now in other conferences. I think
there's only 2 left.
100%
Washington
Washington
State and Oregon State.
But I think with Michigan State is part of the Big Ten, which right now is the best college conference in football.
You think so? You think it's better than the SEC?
Who won that championship last year?
No, I get
Who
it.
won that championship the year before that?
Yeah.
That's Big Ten, Big Ten. What happened when Michigan played the SEC? Last time I checked, they dubbed Alabama twice. What happened when Ohio State played all their members of the SEC?
Yeah, it's not just the only SEC. I mean, Texas beat Michigan rather handily last year. They're in the SEC, so.
Fair if you want to go that route, considering they lost their head coach, about 7 offensive coordinators, and 22 players to the NFL. Congratulations, they absolutely did.
Yeah.
But you look at top to bottom. Last time I checked, Penn State's in there, Michigan's in there, Oregon's in there, Ohio State's in there.
Yeah, so. I get it, and I love your pride. I try to separate myself.
Is it pride or is it the truth? Like,
I don't think it's the truth.
Outside of, okay.
I don't believe in Penn State, with all due respect.
Who you believe in, LSU and Brian Kelly last year or the year before that?
Not necessarily, but I believe in him more than I believe in James Franklin.
That's fair. I'm in agreement with that statement, but when SEC was winning, when SEC was on top, we gave them that because they were on top. Outside of Georgia and Texas, who?
Well, I mean, obviously Alabama had that long run, and if I'm a Big Ten vet,
what have you done for me lately?
I'm saying the same thing you're saying. Okay,
Yeah.
If you're the SEC though, you're looking at like, hold on, okay, you had the last 2. Who was king of the mountain the previous 10?
Who was the president last term? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, right. Okay.
I mean, the last president doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I actually forgot that it was Joe Biden until I asked that question.
So did he. But my point is, we're looking at longevity, and we're looking at, for the most part, we're looking at what in the world is the best. And if you want to pick out the best team, then you've got that argument over the last 2 years. If you're looking at the best depth, then I think the SEC still reigns supreme.
That's fair, but Oregon Oregon and Phil Knight just donated $2 billion to a program that's already been the top of the NCAA. Now, they can't win, but they're floating around 2-3 every single year, no matter who the coach is. Yeah. Dan Lanning's there now. So I think Oregon gets stroked. I think Texas my dad is Texan. Anyway, Oregon. You look what Ohio State is. You look what Ohio State is right now. They're the national championship. You look what Michigan is going to do. Penn State, you add to that where they were. Look at where all of them fell last year in the rankings. Yeah. And in the final rankings as well. So I kind of look at it from that point of view.
Okay. Right. Fair enough. Let us know in the chat. And we've got plenty of people in the chat and the super chat that Kool-Aid could keep us up to date with.
Oh, yeah, definitely. See, look, you guys already know when you start talking food, our chat gets into it. And Dante151, Mr. Super Chat himself, he sends in $4.99 Super Chat. He says, the only mac and cheese I've ever heard of was a lobster mac and cheese from one of the Detroit restaurants when I went to my very first Detroit Lions game. And the rest of the chat, they started putting in all of their macaroni and cheese, the way they like it, jalapeno, cheddar, and all this type of stuff, and their Kool-Aid flavors. But wanted to make sure we pay some attention to Dante151 first.
What's the Kool-Aid flavor, just out of curiosity?
Oh, I'm seeing cherry Kool-Aid. I'm seeing lemon Kool-Aid. Shout out Jack Harrington.
I never knew that.
A Green 713 says the cherry Kool-Aid is it. Yeah. Middle-aged sneaker chick. She says grape lemon Kool-Aid is top tier.
I don't think I've ever had that. The cherry Kool-Aid, I'm all over.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Do you like breadcrumbs on your mac and cheese?
You know what? I didn't have breadcrumbs like growing up on it like that, but my wife, she started adding it to it, and I was like, you know what? I've missed out.
As long as it's not overpowering, I really like it.
Yeah, that the Big Ten. The other thing too.
He's going back to the Big Ten.
No. Just hear me out. Just hear me out. Big Ten is an interesting conference that you have to really truly understand the makeup of the Big Ten before you get in it. And this isn't about who's better, SEC or Big Ten. It's a different conference. It goes back to your question about Jonathan Smith. Rich Rod was a hell of a coach before he came here. And you can argue, I get it, they didn't give him, I'm not going there. They didn't give him enough time. I disagree with that, but if that's what you want to say, fine. Rich Rod was a damn good coach. Yeah. But when he came to Michigan, he had to realize how the conference was, how the players are, what the weathers are, what the energy is, what the games are like, what the physicality of the conference was. Just because you had success out there on the West Coast and a different, we'll say out of respect, a different type of conference. I'm sorry. Just because you had success out there, it doesn't mean you're coming to the Big Ten where your boys are going to have to play in Columbus in November. You're going to have to take kids and play in that all whiteout that they call Happy Valley in November when it's dark and when it's nighttime. You got to come to Ann Arbor every single year. Like, it's a different conference when you come into it if you don't know. If you just come in arrogant and hot-headed, and so that's more so what I'm leaning on.
Yeah, I
point.
think that's a fair point.
Yeah.
I think you could use plenty of examples of guys who've come to the Big Ten and haven't had success for sure. You could use examples of guys who have come to the Big Ten and had success, which is a little surprising. Even it may be fleeting for some, for example, and others who've come like James Franklin, who I know he's got really good records against a lot of teams, but against the two best teams in this conference as of late, he has not had anything worth writing home about.
Yeah.
You know, and he came from Vanderbilt, you know, in the SEC. So, and if you want to look at it that way, how in the world does he have so much success against the Big Ten? The SEC was maybe, I don't know why he left. Did he leave because it was too challenging? Did he leave because he didn't think he could recruit against those teams in the SEC? I'm not sure why.
He came at a good time. He came at a good time in the Big Ten terms for him. Big Ten was in a verge of crossing over, trying to figure it out. Outside of Ohio State and Wisconsin at the time he came in, it was really just Wisconsin, Ohio State, and Iowa in this consistent wave of no offense, but we play disciplined defense. Mm-hmm. Everybody else is in transition or firing coaches or don't have money, whether it's Maryland, Rutgers, Northwestern, Purdue, bad coaching, Nebraska trying to figure it out ever since they left the Big 12 and they can't get the recruiting. He came into a school that's Penn State. Mm-hmm. Penn State is an iconic school. It's not necessarily that hard, that difficult to recruit to Penn State. Now you add somebody that knows how to recruit.
Yeah.
It's not hard to get kids to go to Penn State.
Would you have gone to Penn State?
Hell yeah.
I mean, that's in the middle of nowhere, man. I mean,
but hold on.
But it is a football school.
It's college.
Yeah.
Name a college.
Yeah, but there's not much to do. Look, you and I have both been there plenty. There's not a lot to do there.
But if
for kids, that is part of the equation. Okay?
True, but
it is.
I'm
not saying there's a lot to do in Fayetteville, Arkansas either, but I'm just saying if that's one of the elite places in the Big Ten,
right?
So be it. But I do think it can be challenging to recruit kids to play there unless they're from the state of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I think more so in the NFL, it's challenging, not necessarily college. You're giving the kid a college degree, you're giving the kid however much money in this NIL space, and it's still the college experience. And the college experience, Penn State, they're known for doing it. That whiteout is as talked about as anything. It's jump around.
It's awesome.
At Wisconsin or Death Valley or Autzen Stadium. So I think you mix in that with history, how many Heisman Trophy winners, some national championships, a storied coach, you know, whether you want to talk about the other stuff or not, a storied coach. It's not hard to get kids to go to Penn State.
I agree. There's the atmosphere is special. I'm talking about from the entire experience. If you're a student athlete and what there may be to do there, it's not like the places that we're more familiar with. The last thing I'd say is, I mean, Brian Kelly was successful everywhere he went. 100%. Grand Valley, Central Michigan, Cincinnati, Notre Dame. They got to a national championship. He got his ass kicked, but he went to a national championship. What's he done at LSU? Not much. Okay, and I'm not trying to take anything away from him, but I think it's a really tough conference. If you want to say the top-heavy part of the Big Ten is equal to that of the top-heavy part of the SEC, I'll buy that. But I'm talking about from a depth standpoint, I think the SEC still has the advantage, and I don't like that, by the way. I hate saying that because I think they toot their own horn too much. I want to see, I've been on this pulpit forever. Yeah. The smart thing to do, if this is all driven by television, and you and I both know it is, right? It's all driven by TV ratings. Bring the damn teams from the SEC up to the Big Ten world in November and let them play when the leaves are changing, the wind is higher, is whippier, and it's colder. That's what I want to see.
Tennessee and Ohio State.
Amen. That's what I want to see. Yeah. And if it means that a Big Ten school's got to go down there early in the season where it's hot and everything, so be it. Yeah. But why won't the SEC or college football in general or the networks work on that type of situation where you get a 1-for-1?
Yeah, you preaching right now.
Yeah.
You preaching right now.
That's what should be done. If you're all about the fans and you're all about college football's experience, when really they're all about the money, and that would be a moneymaker.
I don't think you'll see that anymore.
Okay, instead of seeing Minnesota play in Ann Arbor in November, bring a team like Georgia there and see what happens. Let's face it, 1 or 2 losses is not going to kill you to try and reach the playoffs, which is now going to be 126 teams at some point.
Point.
So if that's the point, and the schedule doesn't matter that
That's
much,
a brilliant
bring
point.
the teams from the warm weather
Yep.
and bring them up here. Remember, Florida State played in Ann Arbor. It wasn't too long ago. Well, it was a long
Yeah, it was
time
like
ago.
92.
But you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, 100%. But people are jockeying for a position now because of the playoffs. People want to put themselves in the best position to have the best ranking ever. Why am I scheduling an SEC team at this point? Like at the end, like that's what the new.
Because a loss isn't going to matter that much. It's really when
But
you've got 12 teams. And by the way, the College Football Playoff Committee comes out and brilliantly says we're going to take strength of schedule more into account. What the hell have you been doing? Of course that should matter. So if you're willing to do that and you're hosting that team and that team's willing to do it and you do it the following year, what's wrong with it? Instead of scheduling Army. Probably a bad example because they can be a pain in the ass the way they run their football. But instead of scheduling, the University of Charlotte, how about bringing a team from the SEC up?
If I'm a Ward Manual, I'm not doing it. And here's the point. It's 15 games now to win a national championship. It'll be 16 soon. Why do I need to play one of these teams? Why do I need to play Georgia at the beginning of the year? And then I got to go through my schedule itself. Then I have to play in the Big Ten championship. Then I got to run through this playoff system. By the time my kids, because they are kids, by the time my kids get to second playoff game, national championship game, they're exhausted.
All right, then don't give me this crap that you want to go play in Germany, okay? That I'm going to play Western Michigan in Germany the first week of the season, where I'm going to take my guys all the way over, fly for 12 hours.
I agree.
Okay?
I agree.
And I'm missing out on a home game for 55,000 people in Germany. It's because what you're supposed to do, at least this is what I was told, what's best for college football, and by the way, you and I both know, and if I'm an athletic director and a head coach, I'm not keen on the idea either, so I understand your point of view. My problem is that TV generates all of this.
Yeah.
You and I know that. Anybody who doesn't hasn't paid attention long enough. TV generates all of this. That's where TV should be going because it's about the fans, and the fans want to see this stuff.
It's about money for the NCAA. And the reason why they're doing this, expanding, we know that, but even deeper, it's about money in the sense that you got to find some money to pay these kids. You got to find some money to keep up. You got boosters from Kansas. You got their alumnus donating $300 million, resetting the value. They're trying to take this game overseas, and the school's going. They're trying to garner some national appeal. Maybe they team up with some brands over there. Now you got some brand I don't know about from Hamburg, Germany, or Berlin, Germany. Now they want to put money into Western's program, or they want to put some money into what the other team is playing.
Yeah, let's go to Frankfurt, for crying out loud,
and
play in front of 55,000 people instead of having Western Michigan make about $800,000 to $1 million busing to Ann Arbor and playing in front of 100,000. With all due respect to the people in Germany, I've been there. I've called games over there for NFL Europe. If I'm a Western Michigan player, do I want to play in the big house against U of M, growing up watching that on a regular basis, or go to Frankfurt and have schnitzel for dinner the night before I play Michigan?
I will say this too, though. It also gives us a chance to go over there and embarrass ourselves, like Kansas State's quarterback's father and brother. Like, did you see that?
Yeah, I did. What is wrong with somebody?
Like, how is your brother and your father outside the stadium fighting?
Peel back on the pints, man.
Thank you.
Seriously, how many?
I couldn't imagine.
He's drinking way too much Guinness or something.
Ricky got to see this in the club.
Like, don't get me wrong. Like, you guys get into a disagreement, but you gentlemen out of the country. Come on, Dad and Pops.
Somebody brings up a really good point. They say, I guess I don't understand what I'm missing out. Michigan played Texas last year. Michigan played Oklahoma this year. Played Texas next year. Ohio's playing I said in November is what I said. I get it. You're right about that. I'm not disagreeing with you. What you're missing is I said November, when the leaves turn colors, when the wind is whippier, when there's a chance for snow, when there's Midwest football weather. What you're missing is I said November.
See the difference?
Not now.
The difference is when you play in the NFL, I guess they get paid in college now, but it's still a different mindset. When you play in the NFL, and you get paid, you know what's coming when you play. Let's say last year for the Los Angeles Rams, you know where they went in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They had to go to Philly. They had to go to Philly towards the end of January. You know that weather is bad, but as a 28-year-old man in the NFL, getting paid, you understand, you're prepared. I know that this is going to come with this. I know when I feel this, I got to push through. Like, you still 19, 20, 21 years old. Them jokers can't push through like grown men. And I think that's what they're trying to protect them from, which is some BS. Because we deal with it.
Yeah, well, that tells you something about that conference then. If that's the mindset, if that is the mindset, then that's part of the problem right there.
They want the advantage. They want to keep the leverage, keep the advantage. The only teams I remember coming up here is LSU. LSU has come up here twice in like the last 10 years because I believe they smacked Wisconsin at Lambeau Field when they had Leonard Fournette.
Yeah.
And they did it maybe 3 years ago. I think they came up here and beat somebody else.
Kudos to them.
Yeah, agreed.
You know, I think these are, you know, in college basketball, what do we have? We have these marquee matchups.
Dusty May, baby.
We do. We have these marquee matchups on a regular basis. At the beginning of every basketball season, what do you see? You see Michigan State, Kentucky, Duke, and North Carolina in the same tournament. People can't get enough of that stuff. One loss like that. Now, I know it's different, NCAA season basketball compared to football, but with the way football is going these days and the expansion of their playoff format, I don't think an early season loss like that is going to do a whole lot of damage to you, if at all.
Basketball, only thing about basketball is, and you just said that, but you play anywhere, it's the same. It's the same.
Yeah.
You know, crowd a little louder if you go on the road, you know, if you're playing UNC versus playing Duke. But it's on the court. It's the same weather. It's the same atmosphere.
Yeah.
So they don't mind. Football, those coaches absolutely know.
There's a difference.
If I'm Nick Saban, when he was in the run, I'm not necessarily trying to go to Columbus in November to go see Urban Meyer.
Yeah.
I don't want to go see Ezekiel Elliott when it's cold outside and I know they're going to give him the ball 50 times. Like, let me keep my advantage down here in Tuscaloosa.
I get that. There's a protection there for them and their teams, but as I mentioned numerous times, I'm talking about 1-for-1, and I'm also talking about a situation where things are drastically different now than they were when Nick Saban was coaching at the University of Alabama.